everybody, to another episode of the TPT Podcast, the TPT Podcast, the TPT Podcast. Welcome in, everybody, to another great episode of the TPT Podcast. We got a lot to talk about today, from the Bills all the way to the Panthers, and some signings and some injuries that we could see some guys come back, though, from these injuries. And, of course, I'm going to do it with the best in the business. Zach, how are you doing? How do we feel coming off of a loss, our first loss of the season?
Yeah, we're not overly concerned. Obviously, we've had losses before, and we've also had 3 Super Bowl championships in the last 5 years, and we've had much worse losses. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
if there was a scheduled loss on the season, this was it. It was in Buffalo against a team that always beats us. And so obviously, basically securing the 1 seed would have been cool, but we still have a lot of football in front of us, and that was our first little hiccup on the season. So all good with me.
Yeah, it's usually when we lose, I'm like initially mad. Like I'm just like, oh my God, like we shouldn't have lost this game, blankety blankety blank. But the more I kind of dissect this loss, it's like, okay, let's go to 2022. We lost to them. Didn't matter. Okay, 2023 we lost to them in the regular season. Didn't matter. So that's the kind of thing I'm at right now. It's like, the last couple of years, like we've lost to them and it hasn't really mattered. So, and even in 2021, I think we lost them, but seeding wise, it just never really matters. We always have a higher seed than them. We always get a better, home field advantage than them. But what did you see? What led to this loss, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, it was just them being better than us on that day. Mahomes didn't play his best game, but he didn't play his worst game. The last drive before the second to last drive was probably the best he's looked all season. He was making some crazy plays, throws on the sideline, the touchdown pass, and so it was a really just they outplayed us. They obviously came better prepared, but that is normally what happens in our regular season matchups. I mean, last year was really close; it was down to the wire, but normally they pretty much just outplay us every time. I'm thinking 2021, was it? They killed us at Arrowhead. And my brother and my dad went, yeah, it was a domination. And that's happened before. And so they just outplayed us in all 3 phases. And I'm sure that we will take what happened in this game and we'll have more to take away from it than they will for a playoff matchup.
Yeah, and I also think a lot of people are like, oh, like Spags, he didn't show a lot. He didn't, put things out there for them. Why wasn't he doing this and that? It's like, he's going to go in with a game plan. And he's like, this is a game plan I think is best for us to beat the Buffalo Bills. And some people think, oh, he didn't go in there with a game plan. No, he goes in there with a game plan. But is he going to put everything out there that he has ever drawn up that he thinks is an effective play for the Bills right now? So if we play them in in January, that the Buffalo Bills can be like, oh, I've seen that before. We can identify that. Oh, I've seen that before. I've seen that and this and that. Oh, they're going to put a spy because he didn't put a spy on Josh Allen the whole night. So I think there are things where he goes into the game plan and says, this is what I think right now is the best for us to beat him. Also, again, I don't think our pass rush was great. George Karlaftis, a lot of these guys to me, and this I think the problem with the pass rush this year, our corners aren't as good as last year. Our DBs are not as good as last year. So these coverage sacks are not going to happen this year. These are power rushers. Our D-line are power rushers. They're not going to get off the ball quick. They're just not. George Karlaftis is not just going to be out there like Justin Houston or some of these guys, just like, don't move, get out of the way. He's a hustle guy where if your DBs are covering, it's going to take him 3-4 seconds to get off a guy and get a sack. Along with who else really on our team are quick off the ball pass rushers. Menahue. Look what happened last year when he came out.
Exactly.
We don't have guys that are going to be off the ball quick.
there's a lot of talk early in the season about, well, mainly because we were winning because of our defense, that our defense was better than last year's. I don't see how our linebackers are better than they were last year because Chanel has improved so
Mm-hmm.
much. But basically,
Right.
other than that, we just lost Snead and everything else has basically stayed the same. I don't see how this defense can be better than last year's. I mean, what they did in the postseason was really legendary against four of the top five offenses in the league. We didn't allow more than 22 points. Or maybe Buffalo had like 23 or 24. And so it kind of bounces out because I do think the offense is stronger than last year. Okay. But
Right.
this talk in the national media that the defense is it's closer. Defense and offense is closer this year than it was last year, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And the coverage sacks are
Yeah.
not there. We're middle of the pack in sacks. The last 2 years we've been top two, just us and the Eagles and the
Yeah.
Ravens.
Top
And
two right
so
last year. 60 plus 2 years in a row.
yeah, and so the fact that we're still, keeping teams to low points and low yards is very impressive. But we are not the type of defense we were last year from a perspective of attacking these high-powered offenses where we can get sacks and just completely end drives like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, I think our offense may be a little bit better than it was last year. That was the first time we'll say they were not knocking on our defense. Our defense is still a top five defense. I will say this is the first time they gave up 30 points in a game since the Eagles in the Super
Eagles,
Bowl 2 years
yeah,
ago. So that is impressive. That is a long streak that the Chiefs have been able to hold. If you would have told me that prior from 2022, I would be like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. We're going to go almost 3 seasons not giving up 30 points. Like, look at our defense. But yeah, it's the thing was Josh Allen had time. He had time to look at his wide receivers and just boop, boop, boop. Eventually, like again, the Bills, they didn't have Coleman. They don't have the best receiving core. But with what they have, those guys were able to get open. And they were just, like you said, this game comes down to this. The Bills were able to make more plays on third down. Patrick Mahomes, I thought he had a good game. Obviously, the first interception, ridiculous. He's got to stop turning the ball over. He's got to stop turning the ball over. It's becoming a problem where every single game he's having a turnover. He's got to stop turning the ball over. 11 interceptions on the year, 15 touchdowns. He's not played like Patrick Mahomes. I love Patrick Mahomes. He is the best quarterback in the league. He's a great quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. He's having a bad year for Patrick Mahomes.
oh
And
yeah,
I think he's got to start again. And he didn't run. He didn't run this game. He had 0 rushing yards in this game. He had 1 rushing attempt, and he ran for a couple yards, but it got called back on a ticky tacky holding call. But the turnovers got to stop for this team. They really do. I
yeah,
think if we stop turning the ball over, we'll be okay. And it's always where we're turning the ball over. Also, my main concern though was the offensive line and the defensive line, the trenches in this game. But like you said, my overall thought in this game is like, is this going to matter? Looking at our schedule coming up, is this game really? Because not a lot of teams are going to have Josh Allen.
yeah. And the Bills still have to play the Lions. That's that's probably an L. Let's look. I mean, the Lions are as dominant as we've been in the Mahomes era. They are ridiculous on both sides of the ball. And then they also have to play the 49ers, who are really fighting for a playoff spot. So they're going to be in,
Mm-hmm.
high alert. They're going to be playing their very hardest. Our schedule has some tough ones, obviously Pittsburgh, Houston, but I do think we have the edge when it comes to the remaining schedule. And the fact that we do have this loss and we can't really afford to lose another one as long as they're tied, they're 1 game behind us. I think we'll take care of business in these coming weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the next 3 games for the Bills are their last 3 really challenging games. They have the San Francisco 49ers, the Rams, and the Lions. Then they have the Patriots, the Jets, the Patriots.
Yeah,
So, yeah, the Chiefs really can't. I mean, if they get through those 3 games, I mean, I know the Bills usually split with the Jets, and they always kind of struggle one way or another versus the Patriots. But I don't really see that happening this year. So if they can kind of get through these next 3 games without a loss, and the Kansas City Chiefs stumble versus somebody, that can become a problem because they're only
Yeah.
half a game back. But our schedule definitely benefits. The only tough games we have coming up for us is, like you said, you have the Pittsburgh Steelers, you have the Chargers, and then you have the Houston Texans. So you have
And the
some playoff teams
Broncos.
coming up. And the Broncos at the last game of the season, but
Ooh,
hopefully
it
that's a
actually
bad
might
team.
be tougher. Ours might be tougher than theirs. But they have like an automatic loss. Like, I mean, not automatic, but as tough as the team as you can go against. It's it's
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight.
Yeah. So yeah, they're on a bye right now. They come off the bye. They're playing the San Francisco 49ers, like I said, are hungry, trying to make the playoffs. They got to basically they only can't afford to maybe only lose one, maybe two games. So they're trying to do everything they can to make the playoffs. So they do, and the Rams too are not a slouch. The Rams too are a team that can put up some points with their receiving core and their running back. So they're another good team. But I think the Kansas City Chiefs are fine right now. Um, they're getting some guys back from injury. They signed some guys. Let's talk about that real quick before we get into the Carolina Panthers. Zach, what do you got for updates for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah, as we saw it yesterday, we signed, or it might have been 2 days ago now. DJ Humphries, the former Arizona Cardinal, the left tackle, who he's in his 10th year now or ninth year, so he's a veteran guy. He's made a Pro Bowl, and he's just overall been a decent tackle in his NFL career. And I really like the move. We'll hear what you have to say on the move, but Wanye is not as bad as people assume because a lot of times we're associating things that have happened with him and Kingsley with Wanye. A lot of the worst tackle play we've had was just Kingsley. The worst games we've had at tackle were Kingsley playing. And Wanye is not as bad as he is, but introducing someone that could be a starter, and if he's not a starter, he is a backup that will come in and basically replicate what Wanye is able to do. Unlike Kingsley, Kingsley is not at that level yet. Neither is Driscoll. And so I love the move. We're paying them like 4.5 million, I believe. Well, it can get up to that. I think base is 2 million. And so that's enough money where it's like we're expecting him to play a role in this final push.
Yeah, I like the move. I mean, again, Kingsley, yeah, we had some problem. He's a rookie. Cut him a little bit of slack. But I just remember versus the Bengals, man. Like him getting destroyed. Like just destroyed. Some of these games where he's had to come in just getting destroyed. Wanye is not as bad as people say. Like shout out Oklahoma, Oklahoma guy. He's not as bad as what people want to make it out either. People are like, oh, he sucks, he's terrible. I'm like, he's done a pretty good job. Obviously, again, we've had a problem with the right and left tackle position this year. And I think they'll address that probably in the offseason. We saw Patrick Mahomes the last two games yelling at Wanye Morris and I think Kingsley versus the Denver Broncos. So Patrick Mahomes has not been looked pleased at times where they're supposed to be, and they don't have the backyard like style like our other tackles have had in recent years. Like as soon as Mahomes is like making a play, whatever, they're just like, I don't.
Yeah,
Oh, we're
they
doing
just
this.
stand
Okay,
aloof.
I thought it was a run play. Oh no, okay. Like they're on the run. I will say our offensive line on the run this year has just been balls. They let you like offensive line when it comes to running the ball. Like Jawan Taylor's like, oh, I won't go off sides. I promise if we run the ball. Like they have been great on running the ball. They win when it comes to running the ball. But when we just have a like 5 to 7 step drop back, they're like, no, please God. Like they're not for it.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. That's the thing that if he can come in, I don't know if he'll play this game, but if he can come in and improve it and just give Patrick Mahomes because we've seen when Patrick Mahomes has that pocket, that 2 to 3 second pocket, he's finding somebody. I will say this, I didn't think Patrick Mahomes did a good job of finding DeAndre Hopkins this last game. But like when he has that clean pocket, he'll find Watson down the field. Like he'll find somebody.
Definitely.
So if he can have that just clean pocket at times, and he just boom those quick throws, we saw what it was with Worthy early. Like he was like, just get out quick in space, and I'm just gonna fire it to you, and it was working. Obviously, he couldn't keep his feet in bounds in the game, so that one really hurt. I think that one would have really led to a touchdown. But is there any other updates we have so far throughout the week?
Oh yeah, we also signed Patriots wide receiver Tyquan Thornton, who was famous at the combine. He ran like a 4.28, which is one of the fastest
Mhm.
of all time. And now, I mean, he couldn't get play time on the Patriots, and their number one, their guys are like Demario Douglas and Kendrick Bourne. So, I wouldn't expect him to get elevated unless it's probably for like a special teams role. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, but we love speed. He's probably the second fastest guy in the league, at least by 40 times. So it's cool to have the top two guys on our team.
Yeah, and again, guys get injured. These are the type of guys you always see the Chiefs make these type of signings late in the year because it's like you never know if like Cole Hardman goes down. Excuse me. He's a guy where you're like, okay, we can put in see what he's got either on special teams or we can throw him out there as just a go guy um, and the offense here and there. So those are the type of signings late in the year you want to sign and put on your practice squad because like you never know who may get nicked up or who gets injured and you have to slide a guy in at receiver. So I like that move. Is there anyone getting elevated this week, Pacheco, Charles Omenihu, that people may not know about?
Uh, no, I don't think so. I think
Yeah, no,
they're out.
it didn't look like it. I know Andy Reid said Isaiah Pacheco will not play versus Carolina Panthers. When do you see Pacheco or maybe Hollywood Brown and, of course, Omenihu back?
Ooh, Hollywood. Man, we've had no updates on Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? It would be beautiful if we can get him back, especially since we're gonna actually have to play all these games, which we didn't expect to have to do. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
for the last 2, 3 weeks of the season, that might be too much to ask for because, like I said, we've got no updates. If we can get him for 2 games before the playoffs, bro, we're looking good. We're looking good on offense because
Yeah,
put
and the
him.
thing that we'd like to see. No, I'm sorry. Continue.
No, no, you go ahead. All right.
No, I was just going to say the thing we like to see is he's starting to practice now. He's starting to be in practice, starting to get reps, very low reps, but he's starting to practice now. Andy Reid, all his updates are is Andy Reid just keeps saying, he's making great progress. He's making great progress. No timeline, but some people are speculating. I think Matt Derrick made an update. I would have to look it up. Made an update on maybe you have it on Hollywood Brown from Andy Reid. Matt Derrick does a lot of good work for the Kansas City Chiefs reporter. We'll have to look it up real quick for our viewers. But yeah, Matt Derrick had an update on him. Maybe get it up before I do.
Bro, honestly, I've not seen an
A
update
thing
yet from
on
them.
Hollywood. It would be great to get. Um, it would be great to get Hollywood Black another threat. I guess he has been. Let's see if we can get something up here on it. But it would be great to have him back. What type of impact do you even think that would make? We
Oh,
can get
listen,
a
okay, Matt
guy.
Derrick said I still believe his most likely return is week 16 through 18.
Wait, repeat
Hey,
that again.
I still
Repeat that
believe
again.
that I'm quoting Mr. Matt Derrick, okay? I still believe his most likely return is week 16 through 18.
Okay, okay. So that is
Okay.
the Christmas game. Christmas.
Yeah, it would be either three or one, two, or three
Steelers, right?
games.
That's
Yeah.
Christmas. Yeah, Steelers. So Merry Christmas. Yeah,
You
Hollywood
get
is
a
coming to
Hollywood,
town,
yeah.
folks. Yeah, and I will say again, I would not say Matt Derrick if he wasn't a guy that was consistently in the Chiefs locker room asking questions and a reliable source who's been, who interviews Andy Reid, talks to Andy Reid, talks to a lot of the Chiefs players. So he's a reliable source. I wouldn't, just say, oh, Matt Derrick's some guy on Twitter. But if you guys want to go check that out, go check out Matt Derrick um, on Twitter. But yeah, that to me, I think is a realistic timeline. I'm not going to sit there and if it was somebody saying like he's coming back next week, I would be like, I'm fine with week 16. I'm
Bro,
fine with week
hey,
16.
I'm just looking at things. We're looking good. Okay, we are 9-1. We control our destiny for the number one overall seed, and we probably have a game or two that we can drop and
Mm-hmm.
still get it. Which would be crazy that we would have to go 15-2 to get the one seed. That would just be so unfortunate. But Hollywood Brown coming back probably before the playoffs. Jalen Watson, hopefully, as long as he's on the timetable, back before the playoffs. Getting Omenahu and Pacheco back probably next week.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, and we've
Yeah,
been
great.
relative. We haven't had any big injuries in the last 4 weeks. It seems like since we in the middle of the season there were a bunch. It's coming together,
Mm-hmm.
man. It's coming together. I'm super
It's
excited.
coming back, getting guys back. But for the guys right now, we're heading to Carolina to face the not so feared Carolina Panthers. But Zach, this should be a blowout game, right?
No.
But it's not going to be.
It's not going to be. It's going to be like 10 points.
I know.
Cool with that.
I know. We don't. But we always have that one a year. We always have that one. We had the one versus the Bears last year. We always have that 140 burger a year.
Okay, if there's a team to do it against, it's them. Bryce Young.
Is it going to be like
Spags will probably, make Bryce Young look foolish.
It better not be close.
It's not going to be the Browns game.
I want to be comfortable on Sunday, Zachary. No. Please tell me it's going to be a blowout.
You got to be comfortable. No, remember what LeBron said. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's his favorite quote. You should be comfortable being uncomfortable by now.
He's 5'9". We should be able to just.
Yeah, no, we will. We will. It doesn't mean we're going to win by 20. It does not.
And then just touchdown, DeAndre. Oh,
bro, we're good.
And I hate to say it because I got people in the family that are Carolina fans. My sister-in-law's a Carolina fan, and her dad is a Carolina fan. So if this gets feedback to you guys, I'm sorry, but I need just comfortability on the couch, eating chips and dip, and just not having to be like blood pressure. Okay, I'm a kidney patient, Chiefs. I don't need no more close games. It's the Panthers. Blow them out, please.
Bro, I am so confident it's going to be a relatively close game.
Who do we need to go to in this game, Zach? Just give me something right
now. This seems like a game Xavier Worthy will carry on his momentum from last week and have another, big play.
Okay.
I mean, really, he looked so good in the first half. One thing about humans, especially like elite athletes, when they make a mistake a few times, they will learn from it. Xavier Worthy's not going to play the rest of his career like his college, not getting his feet in bounds. He is going to prioritize getting his feet down after he makes catches. And that already, if he knew how to do that, he'd have like an extra 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Okay, so then we're looking at his season a lot differently. I think he's going to keep getting better every week like we've seen. And the Panthers just seem like a team that will just allow a 75-yard touchdown.
Well, the one thing I get, like, Xavier Worthy's made big plays, but, like, there's still a lot of criticism for, like, Xavier Worthy. Because I get he has, like, that one, like, drop or whatever per game. But, like, he had that catch over more towards the middle of the right side where he caught it and got popped. And I was like, please catch this skinny boy. And he caught it. I was like, a guy who literally weighs like 160, like, and held on to that, like 2 guys just mushing him. I was impressed. But we also got to remember, Andy Reid's been coaching since 1998, 99. How many rookies has been basically a starter in his offense, folks? Tyreek Hill, Deshaun Jackson, somewhat of Jeremy Maclin.
Rashee Rice.
And Rice. Well, again, remember, Rice come on.
I miss you, man. I miss you.
Yeah, we miss you. We definitely miss you. I mean, oh, man, it sucks that he was gone. But yes, but again, that is a 30, almost like a 20, almost 25-plus coaching career, and it is rare for rookie receivers, and unless they are not a, like, again, Deshaun Jackson coming in, it was like, who else are you going to start? Reggie Brown? Like, he had to be the starter in that offense. Like, Xavier Worthy coming in, obviously now he's had to be a starter, but, like, getting real reps and not being like a gadget guy. Because let's remember, Tyreek Hill came in basically as a running back, and then they had him in at wide receiver at times until later on in the season. But that's a huge thing we got to look at is what is year 2 going to say for this guy? Because that's when you usually see guys really come on. But I thought he's done a good job of just being a down-the-field guy. I mean, again, versus the Broncos, he wasn't able to keep his feet in. He's had some rookie mistakes. But again, imagine what he's going to be in the playoffs when Andy Reid calls just plays for him. Because we know, like, all of a sudden, Michael Hardman's a guy in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
He was a guy in the playoffs last year. Justin Watson, all of a sudden, in the Super Bowl, he's a guy. Like, he's not a jag, he's a guy. Like, all of a sudden, these guys just become guys because they drop play. Like, DeAndre Hopkins, what he's going to be come playoff time when Andy Reid's like, you're going to go here, 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 and here. And we're going to dine.
Yeah. I feel like Worthy is a less likely candidate to be a random guy in the playoffs because he's a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's a rookie and he's shown that he's very prone to rookie mistakes. I don't know if we'll see, Hardman goes from literally doing nothing during the regular season to getting jet sweeps, taking him 30 yards, catching 50-yard bombs like he did in the Super Bowl. I don't know if Worthy's really a candidate for that, especially with Hardman being the gadget guy and with Hollywood Brown coming back by playoff time. We don't really know how much he's going to be involved. We really
Right.
don't know. And it depends
Right.
on where Hollywood Brown lines up because, I mean, we could easily have both on the field a lot, because especially since he's been our number 2 receiver all year. But it really just depends on how much Andy Reid trusts him.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this is a game where I do think they got it. Just feed the go-to guys this game, and let them play ball. DeAndre Hopkins, Worthy, Kelsey. Kelsey was MIA after having a 3 to 4 week span of actually playing good football, and then just disappearing. Then just disappearing versus Bills game. Um, Even though at the end of the game we did see him like clapping for them, like and you could see him say, like, you have your Super Bowl, like this is your Super Bowl, clapping at the end of the game, like, okay, okay. But I think this is where, yeah, you got to see Kelsey, Worthy, and of course Kareem Hunt. What is your game prediction for this game, Zach? Before we get out of here,
Yep. We're going to go Kansas City 31. We're going to go Carolina 17. 31-17. We're going to win by 2 touchdowns.
31-17. I like that. I'm praying for that. But that is my like 15-year-old self. Like, we're gonna do that. Put up 35, 36, 40 on this team. I'm gonna go 27-13. Chiefs start out slow. 27-13. Chiefs start out slow. And people are gonna be like, oh, like they do when I go to the gym. I walk in and it's like everyone's lined up at the door, like, you guys lost. You guys are going to lose to the Panthers maybe too. And I'm just like, okay. I mean, I swear everyone lines up at the door. It's like I'm a coordinator for the Chief. I got to go in that press conference like, all right, this is what we did wrong when I go into my local gym because everyone knows me as the dang Chiefs fan. But I'm going to go 27-13. I think like if the Panthers had like Deontay Johnson and some of the like Adam Thielen was out there and some of the guys, like it could be a closer game. But I just don't think Bryce Young, with his little smiling self, is going to be able to take like Chris Jones just every single down, just straight down the pipeline, just coming right at him. So I'm going to go 27-13. I think the player of the game is going to be DeAndre Hopkins. Who's your player of the game?
I'm going to say Chris Jones. He's
Chris
been
Jones,
kind of
okay.
he's not been producing the same as he was at the beginning of the season as of late. I mean, I've seen his numbers. He's still definitely winning his reps, but it's just, I mean,
Yeah.
the coverage hasn't been as good. Other guys aren't winning as much, and so I expect him to have a get back game.
Absolutely, guys. Let us know your game prediction, and let us know after this video, guys. We're going to have a video for you guys where I saw you guys comment on Instagram. Well, you guys have concerns for the Chiefs, and I'm going to go over them this week on the TBT podcast. I'm also going to do a little live in the middle of the week, off time this week, doing a little Thanksgiving little video for you guys. But we'll see you guys next time on the TBT podcast.